So welcome Michael Raskin to our little chit chat. Here at Namami Inc. we do a lot of things with our entire team, and one of our favorite things is after we've established our base package, which is predominantly all of our social media and our newsletters and our website updates and our landing pages and our meta ads. Once we have all those into play, our clients often say, what's next? And what's next for us is Michael Raskin. So our resident expert who comes in to do all things pay-per-click related, which is what most people know it as. But Michael's going to explain some things to us that are the most common questions we bump up against in terms of people know it as Google Ads or PPC, but it's a whole lot more, right?
Lots of different names, but we're all, at the same, trying to accomplish the same thing.
Yeah. So we are so fortunate to have you with us, not just today, but always. We rely on you heartily to make the great things happen. So tell us, Michael, how would you describe in your elevator pitch, what
Sure.
is programmatic? What does that mean?
So programmatic is really like AI before AI. A lot of these things are the same in that it's computers doing the work for you. The best way to think about programmatic is if you were to, let's say, want to targets a user who is a certain age or a gender, who has a certain household income. Programmatic is the form of advertising in which it's utilizing your computer to funnel ads towards you. What your computer knows a lot about you. It knows your age, your gender, your income, your likes based on your social media activity, search history, all that other stuff. Computer and Google have a lot of information on you. And so what this is doing is serving ads based on people who have an interest in teeth grinding or something like that, who are of a certain age, based on all of the activity that they've made online. And it's serving ads to those people and then refiltering itself to serve ads on those who are not only meeting the criteria, but also more likely to take that second action, to make a phone call, to fill out a form, etc.
Awesome. And so people are really familiar with search engine optimization. We're searching for the things, and this is kind of the opposite, right? They're getting sent the ads themselves as opposed to looking for them based on their search history. So some people call it SEM. How would you fit all those pieces in, from programmatic to SEM and pay-per-click and Google Ads? Can you kind of break down the hierarchy of how you interlay? And I know there's some overlap there as well.
Sure. There's tons of overlap, and I can go over, just some of the brief differences between them. When you Google something, the first thing nowadays that come up is AI. That's going to have some sort of an AI result. ChatGPT, Google, they're all doing this, and we could certainly delve into AI. But generally, when you Google something and you're looking for a dentist near me or something like that, the first ads that are coming up, there'll be a little sign that says sponsored next to it. Those are pay-per-click, SEM, Google AdWords. There are 3 different names, but they're all really the same thing. And what the system is doing is it's a real-time auction. It's actually bidding for that inventory. That's SEM, Google Ads, pay-per-click. Those are where you're being charged literally per click. So Google will serve unlimited ads until you hit a certain budget or benchmark that you're trying to achieve. SEO is organic, so it's right after that, where a lot of the filters that don't say sponsor, a lot of the results that come up will be information. And the way that you rank higher on that is based on strength of site, based on keywords, based on a couple other things. As opposed to programmatic, where it's not necessarily on Google. An ad can be served to you on any website. So if you're a 45-year-old man that's looking up teeth grinding, you could be served an ad for a dental practice that specializes in that, and it could be served to me on any sort of news website or Yahoo or any of the sorts, as opposed to Google, which SEM and SEO generally fill on.
Okay, that's great data. How do you determine what a client will need? So we always start, as you know, with our basic package that tunes up the website, creates some ad campaigns on Meta, potentially could be Pinterest, etc. Landing pages to help make those most effective. The entire time an SEO program is implemented, we do newsletters and blogging. Then we come to you, and how do you determine what combination is best for the clients?
Well, first we're doing an evaluation of the website and what keywords would make sense for that. At the end of the day, all these things work in tandem with one another. SEM and SEO don't really live in these sort of silos where one does affect the other. Keywords on one are going to affect keywords on another. And people generally tend to look at this as paid versus unpaid, but either way, it's really paid, right? Because there's a service that goes behind SEO to get the keywords, whereas on the SEM side, you're literally just paying based on keywords. Either way, it's a service, and the two of them work, in hand with one another. What we like to do is drive traffic to the website. Programmatic is the easiest and quickest way to just drive traffic to the website, because you're sending out hundreds of thousands of ads at a time, and you are, bringing people to the website where you can then retarget them. People who have visited a website in the past are 3 or 4 times more likely to visit that website again once you're targeting them after they've already left. When it comes to search, you're right, just like you said. Search is something that's active. You're doing something active to search for something, and there's where you're being served ads, whereas programmatic is more passive. Your computer knows something about you that fits the desired profile of what the dentist is trying to reach, then they're serving ads to you without you really requesting it necessarily at that time.
Right. And I heard you just mention dentistry again, because that's one of our big niche markets. Sure. Is dentistry. Of course, we serve all entities from plumbing to legal to spa to medical, hospitals, you name it. How do you determine the difference? Is there a difference for different industries, or is it just that keyword research based on the website, or are there different techniques that you'll use for different industries potentially?
Absolutely. Some industries that we've worked with for a number of years are more on demand, things that someone may not need exactly at that time, whereas something is more of an immediate need, an immediate plumbing issue, dental issue, something like that. Whereas some are more, there's branding involved, so when you have those needs, you know whom to call. Mm-hmm. And that's how we make determinations on what keywords, what the client at the end of the day is trying to accomplish. It'll all depend. There are certain clients who want form fills. There are certain clients who want phone calls. There are certain clients who want web traffic so we can retarget them afterwards. There are definitely going to be different keywords and techniques for each one, custom based on what industry they're in and what we may be looking for.
And we've been working together for so many years now. I know that you're able to make them all successful, whatever the aims are and whatever the budget is. We're always able to kind of work and make that happen. And when there's website traffic, that's where you bug me to make more enhanced landing pages to ensure that we have that CTA that comes through. Time frame and leads, of course, that's always like a big concern / question for people. What kind of time frame can people expect to get those leads and to have some results from your efforts?
So I'm going to use a saying that I use, and it happens to be in the medical field. And I know obviously we're dealing with a number of different different avenues here, but I always say patience equals patience. One thing with the programmatic world is that it does take time, and people ask me, why does it take time? So I'll give you the perfect scenario. Our goal at the start of any campaign in a programmatic search campaign is really to drive as many people to the website as possible, and then measure how many of those people are taking the second step. The second step is more important than the first step. The first step is great. We've gotten you to the website, but clicks are the end result. We want phone calls. We want leads. We want, form fills being filled out. We want actions being taken. And so the reason why there's this delay, and we always say, hey, listen, 3 to 4 months before the ramp up really even starts, those first 2 months, there are going to be bumps. And, that's part of it. We know that going in, and you and I have sat on many calls with, new clients explaining to them that the first couple of months, it gets a little bumpy. The leads just don't start flowing in the first day. 2 reasons. One, you can't just cut the line in advertising. That's just not possible. You have a lot of competitors out there. But 2, the information needs enough data in order to make that determination on who's not only more likely to click an ad and go to your website, but of that group, who's more likely to take that secondary action. So now, instead of marketing to a large group, we're actually marketing to things that people who are taking that second step have in common. So these algorithms, you'll hear that term a lot in our world. The algorithms take just a couple of months to really work, but once it's on, it's just a moving train.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've shown that over and over again. There's a client that you and I spoke with, I think it was last week, who was just nearing 60 days. And we said, it's the tipping point. Hold on, just hold on. You got this. And then sure enough, 2 patients turned into 4, turned into 6, turned into 8. And now he gets it. But it took a minute. And we're always on the edge of our seats because
Yeah.
we try to wait for that moment to happen, and it does because we do such good work. I think one of the things that sets us apart, and you and the team, is that you're very good at making adjustments, but not making them too soon, and letting things take root, but not wasting time. So it's a delicate balance because you can't implement and change because you won't really know if there's any kind of victory there. But you have to let Google do its thing and whatever the mechanisms are do their work. But you also have to make sure you're not wasting, because 3 business days, 4 business days of inactivity and inaction on our side means a lot. It adds up. So you do an extraordinary job of that. And would you say it's a delicate balance?
It is a delicate balance. It's having that patience. The reason is as Google and these other platforms are learning. When you pause a campaign, every time you make a change, every time you make a pause, you're sort of moving back in line. They are like that. Google does operate in that manner. So you don't want to make too many changes. You don't want to keep, even if it's a quick 10-second pause or something like that, you don't want to make changes. You have to give it enough time to breathe. And that's always going to be the balance, right? That's just part of it. It's the same way if you were, building a facility, building a new office. You're not making that return in the first month. It's certainly a longer term investment. And it's no different with advertising. You're not going to, necessarily just triple, quadruple your money ROI in the first month. It's an investment. But what you'll see is around that 3rd month and that 3rd to 4th month, if not sooner, is that ramp up. When you mentioned it last week, we got an email from a client saying, hey, you know what, I'm finally, I'm seeing this. And just working with clients to have that understanding that this is how it's designed and this is how it works for every single client. There's no line cutting.
Right. I think the line cutting that we do, if we were to say that, is the fact that we usually implement the services that you bring to the table as we have ramped up with SEO and social media, and the website's already had a tune-up, so that your work is icing on the cake and really making sure that, like, I don't like to start with a client if their website is caca, because then we drive traffic and nothing happens and they're saying, oh, it doesn't work. We get that a lot, right? So we want to make sure those things are happening, and SEO is a different kind of fix. And so if that's implemented and we're in month 2 of that, and then start with the services that you bring to the table, they're much more likely to have a positive effect faster. And I think that kind of, if we were to line cut in that capacity, I think that would be as close as we can get to that. But
you wouldn't invite people into your store unless it was ready for business. So that's part of the work that the team does to prepare your website to even take on the capacity, to make sure that if someone clicks and begins their journey on your website, that it makes sense, that it flows, that all the links are working right, all of the website work. You need to put in the effort in order to do that before you invite anyone in.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's like if your shelves are empty and you've been, have a line down the block, you're going to be in trouble. So,
of course.
Well, thanks so much, Michael, for spending some time with us. I think this is super valuable. I hope that people will leave some questions, and comments on here, so that we can get together again and make sure we get their questions answered and help as many people as we can.
Absolutely. Love these conversations.
Thank you.